I'm Karumi Mori for Bloomberg QuickTake. It's been a long night carrying into this morning and looking to be a long week for the U.S. presidential election, which remains too close to call. Joe Biden and Donald Trump both speaking shortly ago. Let's listen in.
Well, thank you very much.
A big celebration.
Thank
We
you.
were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off.
Thank you very much. Please sit. Thank you. This is without question the latest news conference I've ever had. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise that group of people. And we won't stand for it.
We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying the votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted, every ballot is counted. I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election. We're feeling good about where we are, but it may take a little longer. As I've said all along, it's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people. But I'm optimistic about this outcome. Keep the faith, guys. We're going to win this.
Joining me now to break it all down is Jordan Fabian, Bloomberg's White House correspondent in Washington, D.C. Jordan, what do you make of these two statements?
Well, you had one candidate, Joe Biden, who gave a pretty conventional post-election speech in a situation like this where the result is too close to the call, projecting confidence, but saying it's not up to us who wins. Then you had Donald Trump really do something unprecedented, which is falsely claim victory, argue that his supporters are being disenfranchised, and then saying that he's going to launch a legal battle in the U.S. Supreme Court to possibly stop voters' votes from being counted. And so we're just kind of in uncharted territory here. This has been a very punishing and divisive campaign, and the president's remarks would only throw fuel on the fire of that divisiveness.
Yeah, so what can we expect tomorrow and going forward?
Well, the votes are going to continue to be counted tomorrow, despite the president's words. There are three key states where the vote counting has been very slow because of the volume of mail-in ballots due to the pandemic. And that's Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Now, the officials in those states say that those counts could take possibly a few days, so we might not know the real winner here until later this week. But I think all viewers should kind of look to those states to see what the progress is. And Joe Biden, if he was able to pick up any two of those states, judging on by the results tonight, he has a really good chance of winning and becoming the next president.
Right. It's been an unusual election, to say the least, because of COVID-19. You mentioned with that a record number of voters turning to mail-in ballots. Who has the upper hand now?
Right now, it seems that Joe Biden is in a pretty good position, although the president has run a very close race and has a very real chance of winning a second term. The Associated Press just called Arizona for Joe Biden as we were coming on air. So that really means he can even win without Pennsylvania, which is one of the states where the mail-in ballots could really decide the result. If he wins back Michigan and Wisconsin and holds on to Nevada, he will become the next president. And so for the president, he has to pick up Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin, the combination of those three. And that seems to be tough sledding for the president, just looking at the polls and the early returns and knowing how many of those early votes are still out there, because those early ballots tend to favor Democrats.
So for now, we may need to wait quite a while, maybe, for the accurate vote count is what it sounds like. But what exactly happens next? What should we be looking forward to next?
Keep your eyes on news organizations like Bloomberg and others who are going to be looking at those reports from the state governments that are tallying these results and to see what the results are. I mean, if we're getting race calls from Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, those three states now seem to be the ones that this race is coming down to. So keep an eye on those three, a very close eye.
And lastly, could there potentially be a recount of any kind? Are lawyers preparing for one?
Yeah, legal teams from each side are definitely preparing for a legal battle. Although right now it doesn't seem like the results in each of in states so far have gotten to that point where it's so close that they would need to do a recount. I mean, there are close races in Georgia, North Carolina, but this race might be determined without knowing those. So while there could be recounts in those states in the days and weeks ahead, we might not be headed for a Bush versus Gore situation like you saw in 2000, where ultimately the Supreme Court kind of decided who won that race. We might not get to that point. We'll have to wait and see as these early votes come in, what the margins are in those key Western states.
Right, that would be where first time since 2000. We do have a live map of the results right now. Looking at this map, what do you make of these results? Were these expected? Any surprises for you?
Democrats were hoping for an early knockout of President Trump tonight. They had really had some confidence going in, looking at the polls showing that Vice President Biden was leading in pretty much all of these key swing states. But the president pulled off some surprising victories early in the night, really has had a decisive victory in Florida, pulled ahead in Georgia and North Carolina, and also won in Ohio, where Biden was trying to make a late charge. And so that really narrowed Biden's path to victory. And it was only when Biden picked up that victory in Arizona is when the map started looking favorable for him again. So it's been sort of a roller coaster of a night for Democrats who came in with confidence and then saw that the drop off, but now are somewhat confident once again. And for Republicans, they still have a path here. I don't want to downplay the president's chance of winning, but it is a narrower path now that the Vice President Biden has won Arizona.
And Jordan, as a reporter, how has it been covering the election so far tonight? Well, this morning now.
Yeah, it's been a wild and chaotic night, as I think a lot of people believed it would be. And just look at what the president said, I think that really just put a capstone on how wild this night has been. I mean, we just don't have a precedent in U.S. modern U.S. history, I would say, of a president coming out and prematurely declaring victory and essentially announcing an effort to try to somehow stop the vote count of legitimately cast votes in a U.S. presidential election. We'll have to see if he's going to back up his talk with action, but that really threw a big curveball and shocked a lot of people tonight.
All right, Jordan Fabian, Bloomberg's White House correspondent there in D.C. for us. I'm Karimi Mori, and you're watching Bloomberg Quick Take.